Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We got an absolutely magnificent show coming your way today. You know, I'm excited to hear about this topic that Mr. Wil Shelton is going to be sharing with us as relate to how to brand your authentic, whatever that is, and engage with the consumer to enhance your product and to sell your product. So I'm excited about the show today. And I tell you, Michelle probably won't be joining us. She's doing so many things, but I got my main man, Todd, here. How you doing, Todd? How you doing back in the studio?
Always good, James. It was nice having you in studio the other day. I missed you already, but it's going to be a great show. I'm excited for it. It's Friday, so I'm ready to finish strong. And we're connecting here. And 3, 2, 1, locking it in.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley.
Hello. I hope everybody having a wonderful Friday. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And we got a magnificent show coming your way today. We're going to be talking about how brands can authentically engage with consumers, Black consumers, white consumers, all consumers. But we're going to talk about all of those things today. And I tell you, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the platform that you're watching us on and go to the comments, ask any questions that you might have, or pick up the phone and call the radio station, KCBQ, at 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. And the theme of this is many of us, that engaging in business, own businesses, or the consumer itself, if you're selling a product or marketing a product, there's certain ways that you have to do and certain steps that you need to follow. And so this guest here is going to give us some of those tips and just explain a whole lot of things to us. So, first of all, I want to introduce the title of the show again. The title of the show is How Brands Can Authentically Engage with Black Consumers. And the purpose of the show is it's a sit-down conversation with Mr. Wil Shelton, CEO and founder of Wil Power Integration Marketing. Like that. I like that, Wil. The importance of culturally authentic authenticity and consumer pitfalls in multicultural marketing. We're going to talk about a whole lot of those things. And I tell you what, just to say a little bit about Wil. Wil Shelton is the CEO and founder of Wil Power Integrated Marketing, a full-service agent specializing in multicultural marketing with a focus on beauty and grooming industry. With over 25 years of experience, Wil have built a vast network of over 100,000 Black-owned saloons, barbershops across the United States, helping globally brand authentic connect with the Black consumer. He is an expert in leveraging culture hubs. And I tell you what, Wil is probably a lot more than that, but I want to bring Wil to the stage. Welcome to the show, Wil. Welcome to the show.
Hey there, how you doing? Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here and to really add some value to what the audience, needs to understand about marketing and advertising and targeting the consumer in the right way.
Wow. So, Wil, can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about you? Can you let us know where you grew up, why you're so passionate about what you're doing, and what is your goal in doing the things that you're doing right now?
Yeah, right. Yeah, name is Wil Shelton. I grew up right here in California, right near Los Angeles, and you grew up in the 80s and went to school, high school, a little bit of college, but then started working, got married early, and then I got into barbering and cosmetology, and it was kind of like default because I was getting laid off from a job, and all of a sudden I had to figure out what to do. So like in 3 months I decided I'm going to go to school for hair, and I never thought about it before, but I knew it was something that would be my own business and I could leverage that. So discussed it with my wife, went into hair, and then I had my own salon barber shop. And in the shop I started to understand that clients would ask, what movie is that? There's a conveyor belt of conversations that go on in the shop all the time. So I understood it was a captive audience. And people would say, what album is that playing? And I would say, oh, that's Luther Vandross. And they say, I'm going to go buy the album. I heard the whole thing here. So I was like, wait a minute. I'm helping these brands promote their projects organically through the shop. Because think about it this way, your barber or hairstylist can get more out of you in 15 minutes than a therapist in 15 years. So I thought about it. I said, let me find out. It was nothing but the phone book then. There was no Google. So I had to go in the phone book, find the addresses of movie studios, record labels. I wrote them a letter and I said, hey, look, I have clients who have an insatiable appetite for entertainment. And I think you should know about this. James, within like 60 days, I started getting free CDs from the record labels and advanced screening passes from the studios.
Wow. You need to give me some of them addresses. No, man, that's absolutely fantastic. And so I believe you just thought about it. It came to you, had one of those aha moments, and you kind of wrote it down and reached out, and it turned out. Well, before we get off heavily into the conversation, I always have to throw a wrench in the conversation. So if you only could pick one adjective to describe yourself and the type of person you are, what would that adjective be and why?
I would say trustworthy. and that's because I've always operated out of transparency and honesty. And I've always tried to add value to people. As a kid growing up, I was always like the special advisor to my friends, and then now as a business owner, I'm like a special advisor to global brands. So it's the same gift, the same DNA, of trust, gaining the trust of and the likeness of these brands and people who work there and the marketing teams. So it would be trustworthy.
I like that. No one has ever put it like you, but that's one of the things that I always talk about is, and I call it my HIE theory.
Mm-hmm.
HIE stands for honesty, integrity, and ethics.
Mm-hmm.
And and all of that comes with trustworthiness. So hey, let's talk about Wil Power Integrated Marketing and why you created it.
Sure. Well, one of the reasons why I created it, I think I was always like a marketer disguised as a barber. That's how I feel. And I think it was always in me. It got into me. I think I've always been interested and had like a knack for understanding marketing. I would always come up with, watch commercials and understand them and try to understand how to reach the consumer. So I just always kind of had that in me naturally. So what I think I am too is like a global brand and consumer mediator, where if you think about Black barbershops and salons, they're the incubators of the culture. Stylists and barbers are the cultivators of the culture. And there's this ecosystem that makes the Black community flourish. And I love to, educate, enhance, and to help small businesses to scale up if they're trying to build their brand. And I love to help global brands and entertainment companies to connect with that consumer. Think about it. The barbershops and salons are like the original Black Twitter. They're the coronary artery to the heartbeat of the community. So I think it's a place where you relax, you be your unfiltered self. So I saw it as a game changer for not only my life, but the life of brands, the life of what the consumers can receive out of it, building trust, gaining respect, and getting that loyalty that you need.
Well, you mentioned something that dear, in the Black community, especially the barbers. If you want to know something or whatever is going on in your community or whatever, or you go to the barbershop, the barber is going to tell your people that's in there. That's a meeting place for sharing information or sharing lives or whatever that is. But it's great. It's a form of collaboration, and so is the beauty shop, I believe. So it brings people together. So wow, I'm excited. We're gonna have to take a station break, but we're gonna come back and we're gonna pick it up because we got a lot more of Wil Shelton. And I tell you what, regardless of which platform you might be watching us on, whether it's E360 TV, Transverse TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, if you want to be part of the show, all you have to do is go to the comments, ask any questions that you might have, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. My main man, Todd at KCB Crew Studios, AM 1170 Answer, FM 96.1 will patch you through. Remember, it's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A Black man's sport.
Let's go. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr.
Create, collaborate, then you come in with confidence. It's the 4C. Gotta have it, oh yeah. It's the 4C.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Hello. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. And I tell you what, the first segment is always getting to know my guests, getting a little bit more information so we can dive off into the meat of the conversation. Today, the title of the show is How Brands Can Authentically Engage with Black Customers. Your brand can't engage if you market it the right way. And we got an expert in marketing here, Mr. Wil Shelton. And he is sharing some information, especially about, I liked what he just said about the barbershops and the beauty shops, how information can be exchanged and how we can also gather information. But it's so much more than that because just like I said, he is a marketing expert. So if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. Well, I want to pick it back up with that. So you were telling us about Wil Power Integrated Marketing and why you created that. Well, will you tell our audience and viewers what is the primary mission statement of Wil Power Integrated Marketing?
The primary mission statement for me is to add value to the Black community, to add value to brands that I work with, to really to help people and uplift people and help them to live a life that outlives them, to not really allow fear to hold you back, because fear is just false evidence appearing real. Recreate these false barriers. When I first started my company, I thought about it like this. I said, you know what? If I have nothing, I have nothing to lose.
Wow, you said so. You originated all of this out of LA?
All of this out of LA, all of this out of my own barber and beauty shop.
Wow. And tell us how you got connected with over 100,000 barbers and beauty shops, salons all across the country.
Well, first, just being in the grooming industry, I understood that, there's thousands of shops all over the country. How do I build this network? So I had different brands of beauty products that they would have distributors come into the shops, and I started asking questions. I said, is there anybody in Philly? Is there anybody in Atlanta? Is there anybody in Detroit? And they started connecting me with different teams across the country. So then I would have a conversation with them and let them know what I was trying to do. And then on the other side of that, I would go to the brands, the entertainment companies, and I'll let them know Blacks, we spend, at that time we didn't spend it, but now we spend over $8 trillion a year on goods and services. I think it was like over $1 billion at that time. So them understanding that you're able to tap into the cultural capital that exists in these shops, that really expedited things. So I just started to build that network over time, and I connected with 100 shops here, another 100 shops, and over 25 years, it became a network of over 100,000 shops.
Wow. And what exactly do your company do for these shops that you bring in? Do you teach and educate? Do you distribute product? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, one thing from the brand perspective, I help these global brands, get permission and gain admission into these sacred spaces, to create culturally relevant campaigns that feel authentic to the consumer, and it's a venue where the brands can gain respect, to trust and loyalty. And the owners of these shops, I try to help them see themselves. They're more than barbers. They're innovators. They're trailblazers beyond their community, because we always have an outsized influence on the culture. We don't just shape hair. We shape the culture one cut at a time. They don't just groom hair. They groom brand lift, and they groom brand love.
Wow. That's so. How do? Okay, what do you think? Why there's traditionally been a lot of misunderstood or underrepresented Black consumers in the marketing efforts?
Yeah. Great question. Number one, I think you can't copy and paste authenticity. you you can't try to be authentic. You have to be authentic. And I think a lot of brands didn't understand those things. They didn't understand that the companies, they hold a mirror to the community, reflecting diversity and the richness of the Black culture. And, offering their products, they have to provide representation, validation, and a sense of belonging, because the trust is placed in them. And oftentimes the other part of this is, you got to be brand centric, you got to be customer centric, and focus on making those authentic connections. The Black community wants a commitment. They want you to put a ring on it. They don't want cohabitation anymore. So so that's what they're looking for, and that's what I help to train the brands to accomplish.
So you say you got to put a ring on it. I kind of like that, man. Hey, Will, what are some of the key cultural nuances, brands that people need to know in targeting? Well, businesses, companies, everybody need the beauty shops, barbershop, and targeting Black customers.
Well, first, as consumers, whether you're a minority consumer, Black consumer, we want to see ourselves reflected in those campaigns that are put out, in media. And we want the reflection of our identity and our culture. We want those ads to celebrate Black culture. And we want it to be relevant and culturally relevant. And we want that, we need that to have the influence on the African American consumer or the minority consumer. And that's what's really missing in a lot of the marketing efforts. So it all is going to go back to what's going to have that lasting impact and really genuinely connect with that consumer. And where do you connect with them? That's why I created and scaled my barbershop and salon marketing, because you can probably reach 80% of Black females and males in the barbershop and salon somewhere in the country.
Yeah, so you mentioned authentic. What role does authentic when it comes to brand and these different companies, salons, and everybody want to connect with the consumer? What would you recommend them to do?
Well, first, I would recommend them to understand the Black consumer, understand the authentic voice that needs to be presented when you make these connections and put these ads together. Understand what matters to them. And understand how to hold a mirror and reflect their likeness and really gain their trust and gain their respect. Because if you don't have their trust and you don't have their respect, you'll never get to loyalty, because we're looking under the hood. We're doing a 150-point inspection on companies already. I mean, we see things going on, and it's a different time and era. There's social media, and we have more access to behind the scenes, to who's really at the table. So you got to make that full commitment and full effort, and not just show up on Black History Month and not just show up on Juneteenth.
Hey, you telling it like it is, man. And you are absolutely right. And a lot of us, mindset wise, are programmed to only, participate and do certain things. And like you mentioned, holidays, Juneteenth, all that. What would you recommend to some other shop owners, business owners, to readjust their mindset so that they can understand that what you are putting out right here, right now, they would be able to understand it better if they absorb it better. And it's not always I, me, my. Well, how can you explain that?
Yeah, well, I think it's going to come down to partnerships. I think, you can't do it alone. Just like me, I partner with different teams, with different brands, with different salons, with different agencies. So I think if you really want to scale up from a small business, from a mom and pop type of mindset, you have to change your whole doctrine on how to scale and grow your business. You got to understand customer experience. Number one, how is your customer experience going to be with your clients or the consumers that you're trying to reach? Where are they? So find out where they are and start targeting them there. And then really, in an authentic voice, think about how they want to see themselves and market to them that way. So as a small business owner, those are some of the tactics and strategies you need to start thinking about if you want to grow from behind the chair, grow your salon or other businesses that you aspire to have.
Wow, hold that thought, Will. We got to take a station break, but I'm loving this conversation. And I don't consider this an interview. I consider this as a conversation. And I know that our viewers and listeners out there, they are taking this in. And I tell you, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is pick up the phone, dial 1-888-344-1170, or whichever platform that you're watching us on. Just go to the comments, ask any questions that you might have. I promise you, Mr. Wil Shelton will get you an answer. Remember, it's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
His book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by Dr. James Cooley on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Listen up, it's Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and I tell you, I am really and thoroughly enjoying this conversation that I'm having with Mr. Wil Shelton. And what we're talking about, in case you just now tuning in, we're talking about how brands can authentically engage with Black customers. And just like I always say, Black customers, all customers, Black, white, pink, gold, or purple. But the focus today is on Black customers or Black consumers, if that's what it is. And there's a lot of things that we have already talked about in our conversation today. And everything has been magnificent, in my opinion. And it's going to continue to be that way. Hey, Todd, what do you think about the show so far, Todd?
Great show. Very interesting. I love marketing myself. I'm very fascinated by it. And I like Wil. I know he's a creative guy. I like the name of his company, Willpower. Very creative. Shows that, but there's a science behind it. As much as you use creativity, there's a science behind it. And boy, he sounds so knowledgeable. So let's get right back to him.
Let's get right back to him. So, Wil, how can brands avoid stereotype and tokenism while still having to be inclusive and relevant to the Black community?
Yeah. Well, first, I would say if you elevate the consumer, you automatically elevate the brand. And then you have to really position this as culturally connecting. I mean, I'll give an example. why do we think NBC used Snoop Dogg to really bring in viewerships at the Olympics? That was a smart move on them because they knew in order to, gain more viewership, for Peacock to become a bigger streaming channel and for retention of the Black consumer, Snoop Dogg, I mean, he crossed all cultural bounds, but Snoop Dogg was culturally relevant because black his black fan base helped him become that way in the first place. And NBC knew that they could grow Peacock, the brand NBC, and connect with all the consumers because of the outsized influence of him. So you have to look at those types of moves that companies can do to really gain the consumer trust and to buy-in from them. So they use those type of celebrities.
Wow. Well put, my friend. Well put. Will, so what strategies can brands use to build long-term loyalty among Black consumers rather than focusing on the short-term campaigns, meaning just getting it? Because you had mentioned something about Juneteenth and you mentioned something about all that. That's just, those are short-term things.
Yeah.
But how can we get the focus on long-term? Where not just a certain time, it's all the time. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think first of all, you just have to look at a long-term commitment in the long game. You can't be short-sighted. You can't just look at Juneteenth or Black History Month. You have to say, how can we commit? How can we even give back to? How do we, you see scholarships all the time. What about Black barbershop scholarships, beauty cosmetology scholarships, those types of things where you penetrate deep into the communities and really elevate them. I think if they understood that and the cultural significance of that, that's a long-term commitment that they need to make and evaluate that up front. I'm talking about when you first start putting together who you're going to target, where you're going to target them, and you got to look at this as a deal that's going to be, the life of your brand.
So Will, what media channels and platforms do you find most effective for reaching Black consumers today?
Well, number one, I would say a couple of things. Probably it's going to be the barbershop and salon, number one. Because I mean that's one of our most sacred spaces that we're in all the time, and we've been there for hundreds of years. Number two, social media. We have such an outsized influence. If you want content creators, if you want the innovators, if you want the trailblazers, you got to go to social media and go to the right influencers in those communities and on that platform. And then I would say probably streaming because and entertainment, because we have an insatiable appetite for entertainment. So that's another good medium to connect with us.
Wow. And again, you're certainly right about the barbershops and the beauty salons. So in your own experience, how important is it for brands to work with Black-owned media outlets or influencers when connecting with this demographics?
I think is one of the most important components to diversify, to really have them with a seat at the table at the beginning, because when they understand and able to bring to you an authentic voice that you can take back to the community and you can really gain that trust. So I think that having them at a seat at the table at the beginning of any conversation in advertising and marketing is going to automatically is going to generate more revenue for you, number one, in the end, because now the minority is the majority. So that the mainstream media marketing that we used to do back in the day, that doesn't work anymore, because you have a lot of different segments and things are more fragmented than they used to be before. So if you want to really get to the heart and the coronary artery of the Black community, you've got to have Black consultants, media companies at the table, and then they can really help you to elevate your brand.
Wow. With the emergence of AI in everything, I'm talking everything in the world right now. How can what you're doing by using AI platforms help also formulate and educate and get out to the consumers and other companies that you're engaged in, over 100,000? How can that help better serve you and getting your message out?
Well, first, I think with AI and Chat GPT and all of that, it's new technology that I think a lot of people are afraid of it or have fear of it. I think you should embrace it, number one, and learn how to utilize it, learn how to marshal it to help you and accomplish your goals, and understand, you know, what could I do with this? How much more research you can do, how many more marketing strategies that you can get out of AI. There's so much tied into that from the global brands. They've been using it since it came out, but as small businesses, entrepreneurs, we really need to dig into it, not fear it, create your own careers out of it. I mean, there is so much. We're just scratching the surface of this right now. So I think, I mean, you can maybe write your own ticket, even if you wanted to work for a brand in that AI department that they're just developing. You should develop yourself so you can integrate what you're doing into AI and integrate AI into everything that you have going on.
Wow, hold that thought. Mm-hmm. We got to take a station break, but we're going to come back. We're going to pick it up and learn a lot more from this absolutely fantastic guest. And if you want to be part of the conversation, not too late. I can do pick up the phone, dial 1-888-344-1170, or whichever platform you're on. Go to the comments, ask any questions that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A Black man's point of view is the newest Amazon.com.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, the true life coming of age story by James J.C. Cooley. Using humor, wit, and engaging storytelling, James paints a picture about his arrival in a rural deep South town, realization that life would never be the same. Cooley lays out his struggle to adjust from city life to country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you that I'm looking at the numbers here, Will. There's a lot of people watching you today.
Oh wow! Okay,
Yes,
that's good.
I'm looking at the YouTube numbers alone, and it's over 2,000, and that's just one platform. And Facebook, 2-3 Facebooks that we have up there. But what I'm trying to say, my point is that they are getting this knowledge. At least they are hearing it. What you're saying, and I want to get right back to it because I think this information is so relevant and so important that we have to bring awareness and educate the businesses out there, the consumers, on what need to be done, especially for the businesses, for the consumers to clearly understand that this is what I want, is of these products, etc. So why is it important for brands to not only market to Black consumers, but also have Black representation behind the scene in leaderships and creative teams and executives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
I think number one is because you need African Americans behind the scenes, minorities behind the scenes, because that's your audience. And that's who you're trying to attract. So who better than to have as your at the table with you and on your team is the same reflection as the consumer you're trying to attract. It's super important, it's vital, and it's going to increase your revenue tenfold because they know how to speak to them in an authentic voice.
You just mentioned something that's so important, is having representation at the table. Because the owners or whoever that is, whatever that is, gigantic companies, many do not have representation at the table for the product that they're selling. And I think it's so important, just like you said, to have likeness, I'm talking about people, at the table to actually be able, and they get a better understanding of promoting the product if it's Black products, opposed to, board of directors and everybody, African Americans. I'm talking about at the table. It's because it's all about the money, So I think that's so important. And also, why is it important for brands to not only market a Black consumer but have white representation? And can you give us an example of why you have an exceptional job connecting with Black audience and what make their approach successful? I mean, you have already connected with 100 different businesses. can you give some examples like how did you go about doing that and getting them to understand?
Yeah,
That's so important.
yeah, great. If one example I could give you, this was a campaign we just did. Snoop Dogg, he has a new ice cream brand called Dr. Bombay Ice Cream. So I partnered with Snoop Dogg's ice cream marketing team, and we did a whole barbershop blitz this whole summer in the salons and barbershops on social media promoting his new ice cream, and the sales went through the roof in all of the metropolitan markets that we were able to market in. We even, when school started back, and this is a good example of giving back to the community. So you know how much it costs for haircuts. I mean, going back to school, all the products that you're getting, the books you got to buy, the notebooks. So we, I think, provided over 1,000 free haircuts for kids and free ice cream. We did what we call these barbershop takeovers in 10 different cities across the country. So that was a cool, relevant, culturally relevant campaign that we did to promote Snoop Dogg's ice cream, Dr. Bombay.
Wow. You know, that's I mean, so he bought into your program. And obviously he think with what you're doing is great because you already know Snoop. Snoop is, a lot of people don't understand that Snoop is a brilliant guy. Jingle to the Ingle and all that.
Yeah.
It's you know that's not even him. I mean, that's him. That's his image. But from a business perspective, sometimes we have to have open minds. And I'm so glad that Snoop and a lot of other entertainers have open minds where they reach out and they pull people in with them that could best support them in the products and the marketing that they are releasing. You know, so how can brands use consumer data and insight effectively to better understand the needs and preferences of Black consumers? I know that you're very familiar with that. Yeah, can you talk about that a little bit? We probably got about a minute and a half.
Yeah, I think with consumer data, you have to understand, you know, where are these consumers? You know, how much do they spend? What stores do they shop at? What's their mindset? How do they feel? First, I think, how do they feel about seeing their likeness reflected in the campaigns that you put out? Then I think you still have to go back to, you have your analytics. And I said, there's something called manalytics where it's a real lived experience. That's why it's important to have African Americans at the table, because we live this out every day. So I can come to you because I'm at the grassroots level. So I can come back to the brand and say, this is what our surveys say. This is how they're thinking. This is what they're talking about in the shops. And this is what they want. So that's something that's really deeply ingrained in some of the training and coaching and consulting that I do.
Wow. You know, I tell you what, we got about a minute and a half left in the show. Hey, first of all, Will, I want to thank you. And stick around once the show ends, stay on if you can for a few minutes. You know, so I want to thank you for this invaluable lesson, conversation that we had. I'd like to thank Todd and my KCBQ AM 1170 FM 96.1 studios in La Jolla. Todd, you are the greatest. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning in to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And also Saturday, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sunday, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 7 days a week. Yes, baby. 7 days a week. It's your life, but most important, I want you to always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. But yeah, same time, 9 o'clock. It's Your Life.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.